the season style. We want the and it's going to be a lot for the driver of that 97 machine to do just that. Going to be quite the challenge, and Wheeler surely will be able to step up to the task coming into tonight's event after New Hampshire. Wheeler with a 34-point advantage over Kendall Kerr in the championship standings. And while that is not an insurmountable gap, it's absolutely going to be a challenge for the driver of Kendall Kerr to get through and perhaps steal the title from Wheeler. As it stands, we got a total of 26 drivers here tonight. Kendall Kerr, one of two not to hit the track just yet. And Wheeler currently second on the charts with Scott Zellner in the first position. But tonight's going to be a little bit of a different formula compared to the majority of the races. You can see it now. You may as well have already noticed that this will be a super speedway, and the first of which all season long. This is Atlanta, but it is the new configuration, and things are changed just a bit. And while we do have the same 1.5 mile length that we have known for decades upon decades, like the NASCAR Cup Series, we are taking these NASCAR Next-Gen cars this time by to the 1.5 mile newly reconfigured high-banked version of the famous track down in Georgia. This will be a race of drafting, a race of careful maneuvers, and most importantly, a race of speed above all. Fastest lap on the racetrack right now, Jason Harris in the number 7 Hellman's machine, and this man has rocketed to the front of the field in terms of practice speed. Best lap, a 30.119, and that's better than the remainder of the field by at least a 10th of a second. A very impressive job from the driver of that number 7 machine, pushing as hard as he can to make it happen. Chad Winstead right behind him, and Winstead's been on a tear, getting his second win. And this second half of this season has been incredible for Chad Winstead, moving up throughout the championship standings time after time, and he continues to use it to his advantage. Winstead on a roll. Terry Brooks gets right behind him and now gets right in front of him as Caleb Morrissey and Scott Wheeler are drafting one another, part of the 4 horsemen. And Caleb Morrissey has been turning his season around slowly but surely last week, getting that podium position in New Hampshire in incredible fashion and able to get it done after a long battle throughout the entirety of the race. From last position on the track, following the race, standing up front and almost getting that victory. Morrissey looks to repeat the success, and right now he looks especially fast. 3 minutes and 44 seconds before the race begins. And we have our first major pack. See all these guys getting used to drafting with one another. Dylan Body in the pack, Brandon Wenjard, and everyone's getting into the mix of it. As you can see, they are all fighting side by side with one another. And how we watch on board with Alan Cookman as he is in the middle of his pack. Everyone getting single file for the most part. Andrew Baker rolling down to the inside line, double file, Dylan Petit there. Scott Wheeler as well, 3 wide, just a moment his friend. He's going to send it in with a jet board number 24. And it looks like Cookman going to be tapped up to the wall there. Just a bit of a scrape, but Scott Zellner not going to get by. Andrew Baker does, wrecking. And that will be the end of Cookman's run with the pack. Chad Winstead, however, still with Jason Harris, who's not the fastest man on the track anymore. As a matter of fact, it's Alan Cookman in the first position with Dylan Body in second in the number 26 Kroger Walgreens machine. Andrew Baker up to third, and Jason Harris down to fourth. As the pack with Brandon Wenjard still in it continues to roll around the track. See how fast these guys are going. They're going at about 183 miles an hour throughout the back straightaway and getting up to speeds of almost 200 miles an hour with 27 degrees of banking at their disposal. Every driver going to be able to use the most of them and find the fastest way throughout the racetrack. Going to be a challenge for every one of them. But these are guys well known for being able to use their talent to their advantage no matter the situation. And surely they will be able to put on a great show once again. Dylan Body in the second position. In timing and scoring, Brandon Wenjard in fourth. Now down to fifth, and Jason Harris will usurp him. And Scott Zellner, side by side with Garrett Sudnor, off of the pit exit. And the number 2 machine going to get out on his way. 10 career wins, the all-time highest. and actually up to 11, coming in with 10 this season, and getting out with at least 11, looking to win number 12 in dramatic fashion. He might be able to get it. And a lot of time will tell. Matthew Rodriguez up to 11th on the charts right now, trailing Scott Wheeler, getting that draft, and you can see how much faster he is with the slingshot. Going around the outside of the 97 machine, he's going to be able to make it happen at the start-finish line. And the apron appears to be a usable line for these drivers as well. Not often we can say that, especially at a mile and a half like Atlanta. The apron has been configured quite differently, much more of a challenge than compared to, say, a track like Kansas, where Kansas has the best part of the racing line. When you come down to the apron, they'll be able to ride it through and get some momentum. Rodriguez using that method here tonight. Stop. 3 wide there, and they're going to go side by side for a moment. And Rodriguez getting the better. As Scott Wheeler going to go down to the inside line. Garrett Sidler in the mix as well with 40 seconds remaining. And we will get this race started in no time. Jason Harris back out on the track, and he is the highest driver in terms of practice position on this track right now. His teammate Alan Koopman top of the charts as everyone practices green flag pit stops, and Harris hardly makes it as Toby Wedgwood in the number 52 has returned once again, and Wedgwood back for his second start of the season with a HighPoint, number 52 in the Highline Racing League HighPoint Premier Series, representing the title sponsor tonight. And great to have Toby Wedgwood with us. But the fastest man on the charts, Alan Koopman in the 8 machine, and Dylan Body in position number 2. Jason Harrison 4th as Andrew Baker is in 3rd. And that is how practice wraps up on to qualifying as the drivers disappear from the track. 5 minutes, 2 laps, 1 pole position. And let's watch uninterrupted as the stars of the Highline Racing League take the high banks of Atlanta under qualifying conditions for the first time in their iRacing careers. Terry Brooks onto the apron, and Tyler Rush there as well. And Rush in the number 72 machine has his twitch on the back of the car, surely. He's streaming this race from his own onboard perspective, and it's going to be a great perspective to watch back all these drivers able to provide their own feedback race after race. And the 72 machine going to get it squirrely, and it looks like he's actually going to nearly spin it out on exit. And we'll see whether or not he chooses to reset it, and he will choose to reset it. As a matter of fact, Brandon Wenchard on his way as well at 144 miles an hour, bolting out of the racetrack. Terry Brooks, the number 23 machine, on his way. This is his first time lap. We are green in qualifying. And as we say that, automatically updating to say that we are in fact under the green flag. And Terry Brooks leads them down. Brandon Wedgwood second. Colton Gardner in third at the moment. Nobody's been able to set a time. That's according to distance. Tyler Rush on his way, and Wedgwood going to be coming down the stripe. He might just be the first man to set a lap. Coming down now, Terry Brooks going to have that on her, 32.023 because of 32.019. Jeff Morash top of the charts, and that's going to put him on pole position for now. And it looks like a different paint scheme for the 124, the triple digit threat. Looking to be the fastest driver thus far in this event. Brandon Wenchard coming down to the stripe and at the line for Brandon. That will put him a tenth of a second faster than Morash, and Dalton Beer are going to put himself in second now as the Planters, number 38, plants himself into the second position. Colton Gardner on his way, going down the back straightaway, and a lot of these guys not yet putting in a lap. Terry Brooks gets himself up, and Roberto Ramirez puts himself in the top spot. Provisional pole for the number 42 machine. Yet another driver on provisional pole. Tyler Rush is in 6th. And he's going to come down to the stripe. Next time by will be his final time lap. Kenny Brooks up into 7th. Dalton Beer gets back up into 2nd. And Ramirez top of the charts by 22 1/1000ths of a second. Brad Kress now in 2nd. And it looks like Brad Kress done and done. James McKee on his last lap takes the pole position by 1/1000th of a second. And that's the shakeup that this lineup's been hoping for the Blacktop Racing boys, but surely Roberto Ramirez was not hoping for that one. How about that? Kenny Brooks up to 3rd, Colton Gardner up to 5th, and Tyler Rush up into 7th. Scott Wheeler on pit road and he has yet to exit. And it looks like he would choose not to just yet, as he waits and watches every driver who comes in and out of it. And it looks like a lot of these guys choosing not to go to qualify for the sake of their car and keeping themselves safe. And a surprising decision for some, but not so much for others, trying to keep the car straight and safe. It's a much more important goal, as points matter so close to the end of this season. And in every position at the tail end of the race, you can afford to lose some at the start of it. Matthew Rodriguez coming around to the stripe. And for the number 57 machine, his first lap will put him all the way up into the 11th spot. He's about a tenth of a second away from the pole position thus far. And Rodriguez has a lot of time to get back this lap. Of course, single file, single car qualifying for every driver. This will not be group qualifying. And because of that, you have to optimize your line alone, and that is much more important during the qualifying stage of the race. But when it comes down to the race, if you don't work well in a group, you are going to flounder. And for Matthew Rodriguez, he will be banking on working in a group as he puts himself up into the 9th position. Scott Wheeler still sitting on pit road, and a multitude of drivers have yet to qualify. It looks like a majority of which will intentionally choose not to do so, and that is going to shake up this lineup. A lot of drivers banking on iRacing to settle the score and give them their lineup for tonight's event. James McKee, however, will not be banking on such an idea. He will not be waiting on his iRacing to keep him up front, and the driver with the 3506 iRacing will be at the front of the pack, winning the pole position by what looks to be an official margin of 1/1000th of a second. Nobody will beat him. And James McKee is your pole sitter here in Atlanta. Let's get your starting grid and find out how everyone stacks up here in the SP Designs SP 150. And we are getting going. And what a great show put on in qualifying, an action-packed session. And it was only won by 1/1000th of a second, and that has to be the closest margin all season long. McKee gets them, and that was the closest that we've seen it happen throughout this entire year. Your pole sitter is already lined up and ready to go. So we're ready to go and present your starting grid for tonight's event. James McKee is going to be top of the charts with Roberto Ramirez right beside him, P1 and P2, separated by, of course, that 1,000th of a second. And Kenny Brooks, don't count him out. He was very close as well with a 31.723. Brad Kress is in the 4th position. And rounding at the top 5, it's Colton Gardner with Dalton Beer in the 6th position as well. Tyler Rush in 7th, Brandon Wenjerd in 8th, and rounding out the top 10, Matthew Rodriguez and Jeff Morash. Then we get to the drivers on iRacing. Terry Brooks, the last driver to qualify on time. Kendall Kerr going to be in 12th on iRacing, and Scott Wheeler in 13th, Scott Zellner in 14th, Adam Bozzi in 15th, and Garrett Sidnor in 16th. And then it's going to be Casey Heschel, Dylan Petit in 18th, and finally Alan Kunman. And riding shotgun on the field, it's the driver, the number 6 machine, in Caleb Morrissey, looking to get this one done to round out the top 20. And additional drivers include Shadow Winstead, 21st, Jason Harris in 22nd, Andrew Baker, 23rd, Jacob Hom in 24th, and Toby Wedgwood and Dylan Body round out the field in its entirety. And that's the way it goes. 26 drivers, the number 26 back of the field. It's time to settle this in Atlanta, and they're going to take on the new method here with the Super Speedway configuration. Let's see what they have in store, because it's going to be a great night of action, let off in just about a lap's time. And 100 laps to be exact around the 1.5 mile course. And we are excited as ever. Ticker's going to come back onto your screen, and every driver looking forward to this one, hopefully as much as we are, as tonight could be a big gain or a big loss for every one of them. Roberto Ramirez is going to choose to start on pit road, electing to start in his stall from the 2nd spot. Our front row going to be made up of Brad Kress and James McKee. And Kress going to be put up by 2 qualifying positions, as McKee will be able to start next to his Blacktop Racing teammate. Before this race begins, the outside line going to be moved up 1 row, and Brad Kress gets the advantage over the 3rd place qualifier in Kenny Brooks. And half a lap remaining before we get to the show. If you have any predictions for who's going to be able to get this victory tonight, let us know. We'd love to hear what you have to say, and all of your support is greatly appreciated. It means the world to us, and without any of you, these broadcasts would not be able to happen. We thank every one of you for watching live on FTN, and we hope that your Thursday nights are better because of us. It's always better for us when we have you alongside for the journey. The journey will begin once more. Race 10 out of 12 in the championship, and we're looking to wrap this one up as the new year will come on very soon, and we'll race our way into 2023 with the final round of the Highline Racing League HighPoint Premier Series in style. This season coming to an end, and it's going to be one worth remembering. Season 14 heading to a super speedway for the first time. We are green in the SB Designs SP150, and who else but the SB Designs sponsored driver to lead us to pole. And everything shuffles out with Brad Kress right behind his teammate, double file. And thus far, very calm ordeal, full throttle. The remainder of the pack going to be very far behind, double file all the way. Some single file action, but a majority of this field is 2x2x2x2. And there is no stopping Brad Kress. He will lead your first lap of the race. And as a matter of fact, James McKee gets it over Brad Kress, timing scoring 8 minutes. And Kress will in second. McKee gets it done that first time by, and our apologies on that one. But it looks like timing is going a little bit confused. James McKee's got the speed, and he will make it happen. Lap number 1. Single file up front, top 3 drivers. It's going to be McKee, it's going to be Brad Kress, it's going to be Kenny Brooks. McKee gets it that time by, Brad Kress right behind him, and 3 laps in, everyone's very, very calm and very, very steady, and everyone holds together. Listen, guys, it stands, everyone looking to play it safe very early on, trying to keep the cars together. And in order to ensure a potential late race for any of these guys, they're going to have to stay in it early. Colton Gardner up front in the 4th position. Brandon Wenger there as well. Tyler Rush 6th. Dalton Beer in 7th. Matthew Rodriguez is in 8th. And Dalton Beer going to go to the high side there. And we're going to watch it right in the middle of the pack because it looks like there's going to be a side-by-side battle between Rodriguez and Dalton Beer. And that there is double file at 183 miles an hour. As it stands, everyone majoritively in the positions they started this event in. And this double file process proves to be just the beginning of the race as we see some passing right now. Brandon Winter trying to make the move on Tyler Rush. 5 laps in out of 100. We're going to watch to the back of the field. Scott Wheeler is in the 11th spot. The second pack still has some draft, but as it stands, the majority of the field stays in position. Single file behind the Scott Wheeler machine. How about the drivers up front? Brad Kress, Brandon Ledger, Colton Everyone are doing a great job thus far. The services and supply, number 23, moving his way up into the front of the pack. And it's going to be Kenny and Terry Brooks working with one another in due time. Service and supply having a great run so far. Dylan Petit up front, right behind Adam Bosio, right in front of Alex Scott Wheeler. Wheeler's going to fall down the running order. And letting a few guys by, Chad Winstead in there as well. As we watch, Kendall Kerr is in the back of the pack with Roberto Ramirez. Toby Wedgwood looks to be in front of him, and Casey Henry rounding out the field thus far. And the 3-car pack, not as quick as the leaders, a few tenths of a second off. As a matter of fact, Toby Wedgwood on his own as well. And as we go back to the front of the pack, you can see they're still dispersed, but within touching distance of one another when it comes to the draft, and that is what matters as the race goes on. James McKee in first, Brad Kress in second, 7 laps in out of 100. Playing nice and smooth thus far, and it looks to be a great job by every one of these drivers, as playing it safe is the way to go here. Matthew Rodriguez slowly but surely reeling in the guys right in front of him. Garrett Sidnor, side-by-side battle in his rearview mirror. Garrett Sidnor is going to have to watch and wait to see whether or not he can pass Terry Brooks. But as it stands, Dalton Beer gets right by Jeff Morash. as Matthew Rodriguez. And it looks like Kenny Brooks is going to go down to the inside on Brad Crest. This is for second aggression. Looks to be coming into play right now. And 8 laps in, we have our path for second. We'll see whether or not Kenny Brooks wants that first position bad enough to go for it. And if he does, it's going to be quite the change in pace. And we might see some more aggressive driving up front in this pack of about 10-15 at the very most. He's starting to shuffle up. Terry Brooks has gotten his way up to 4th. And Kenny Brooks is up to 2nd. Tyler Rush standing in between them. And with Rush in that 72 machine, it's sandwiched between the Brooks duo here. It's going to be quite a challenge to hold them off as Terry's getting closer and closer. Kenny Brooks getting closer to the lead for the first time. 10 laps in out of 100, and all of them have been led by James McKee thus far. And it looks to be as if he's been pacing around this track as if it's a Sunday drive at 180 miles an hour. 10 laps in, he has not encountered an issue. And down to the inside line, Kenny Brooks tries to take him, but he uses that arc quite nicely. James McKee does, and he keeps that lead. The 11 machine has it in store. James McKee second, Kenny Brooks third, Terry Brooks now. It's 4 Camaros on the inside line. They've got 5 Camaros. Dom Beer gets up into the final spot of the top 5, and it's 5 Chevys up front. Kenny Brooks going to have to let Terry Brooks by there, loses a bit of a line there. And it's double file, Brooks on Brooks, and Garrett Sidler goes down to the inside line, but double file, they stay. And now it's up to the number 9 machine to block both lanes as they both have a lot of momentum, 12 laps in. And 12 laps the distance we have traveled. And it has been led all by the 9 machine. The remainder of this pack is still playing as hard as they can. Dom Beer going to get right there with Brad Crest. And it looks like big contact. Will Brad Crest save it? Not without tapping Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez goes into the wall, slams it.
The yellow flag
and
is
yellow
out.
flag number 1, it's out. And that's your first caution of the night in full display. And the number 57 going to have to get the worst of it. 13 laps in out of 100. And let's watch the instant replay. And we're going to send it back half a minute. You can already see by this point they are spinning. And it all started. The driver, that 29, Brad Crest, getting it. Tyler Rush tries to save it. Does not get into the wall. Touches Brandon Wenchard. Then, loses control once again, taps Matthew Rodriguez, and that time he could not recover. Rodriguez in the wall. And it looks like he folded an axle the way he stopped. A lot of resistance on the brakes. And that's what brings out the yellow. Rodriguez able to continue going. But at the same time, that's going to be quite a lot of damage. And it's damage that he does not want to have so early. There we have it for Matthew Rodriguez. 57 machine coming down to pit lane. First driver afflicted with damage. And Brad Crest able to hold on to 10th as it stands. Although it looks like now he's going to have to come down pit road no matter what. Getting some damage repaired, and it looks like strategies are going to change. 15 laps in. James McKee is your race leader here in Atlanta, and he's doing a great job of it as a matter of fact. So we're going to try to get an interview from him because all 15 laps thus far have been led by the driver of that 9 machine, and nobody has been able to stop him just yet. And what a show he has been putting on. We're going to drag him up to the interview room right now, and James McKee has been on a roll here. 15 laps, and you led them all. How are you feeling so far?
I'm just riding. We're just trying to cruise along, complete as many laps as we can.
And so far, completing every one of them up front. It looks like no competition just now. But of course, Atlanta, now in the Superspeedway condition, everyone has been racing it differently. The configuration altered. The driving style changed. How do you feel about the first 15 laps and how they've gone, and how will you approach the remainder of this event?
I mean, right now it's been pretty easy, just riding down on the bottom, just trying to hold that line, make sure I don't get shuffled back. And I don't think we'll see anything too crazy for about another 70 or so laps, so we'll see.
And absolutely 70 laps remaining, but right now the car seems to be feeling good, and only a few drivers coming down on pit road for tires and fuel. Any chance those two factors will affect us as we go later into the night?
Couldn't tell you. I haven't raced at this configuration before, so we'll see.
And absolutely, we will see. Looks like we're going to get double file this time by, and it's still led by the driver of the 9 machine here, James McKee. Any final thoughts before we get to the remainder of this event?
I'm sorry, what? My crew chief was going on.
Any final thoughts before we get back to this one?
Nope, we're just gonna send it.
And then the driver of the 9 machine sending it quite well thus far, leading the way here in the SP 150. Thank you for your time. And there we have it, sending him back to the voice chat. Driver of the 9 machine leading all 15. Now it's going to be up to the 16th lap. Kenny Brooks beside him. And there we have it. Double file once again. The iRacing case starting the back of the pit road. And this will be only our first caution of the night. 16 laps in, almost a fifth of the way. And we've still seen one wreck. Matthew Rodriguez getting the worst of it, but he looks to be back on the racetrack for now without much damage. But we'll see how much it affects him as the race goes on. It could perhaps affect his motor, and that might come back to bite him at the tail end of this one. McKee, Brooks, and Adam Bozzi, your top 4 drivers, and the SP Designs machine is going to lead off in the SP 150. And it's going to be a show to behold when we get back to this one. 16 laps. Everyone's played the crew thus far. This is the question. We are going to find out. The pace of this race might just change this time by. iRacing pace car is in. And now we are going to get to the action once again. James McKee leads us off. And we are green once more. And back to the action here in Atlanta. And how about it? Number 9 machine going to lead the way. Terry Brooks gets right behind him. As it stands, everyone situates themselves quite nicely. Led by James McKee, it still is. But now, for the first time tonight, Brooks go right up there, and they got the draft of one another. 2-car tandem, and now Terry Brooks takes the lead. Down on the inside, the 9 machine is, but up on the outside, Terry Brooks still has that lead, and he's the first new leader of the night. 18 laps in, we see our first lead change. And now it's double file between the top 5 drivers. Brad Crest still in the mix. And so far, so good. The middle of the pack, still good as well. Colton Gardner getting a little bit squirrely, but he keeps it together. Matthew Rodriguez looks to be 4 laps down according to timing scoring. That is not the case, only 1 lap down. And Rodriguez has that front end damage, and it is still evidently on the right front of the car, not able to hold on. He looks to be about a second off of the pace. As a matter of fact, 3 seconds off. The pace damage, severe. That number 57 is not going to happen at all. Brad Crest not in the lead, but he is still going. And Terry Brooks leads the way into lap 20 of 100. And side by side, Kenny Brooks is with James McKee. And that is for a second of a moment. Dalton Beard. And Jeff Morash leads to number 5. A very good field up front. A lot of these guys able to stay calm. 20 laps in, you got to stay calm before you get to the storm. The storm's going to be the final 20 laps. In the start if you want to make it to the end. And these guys surely are aware of this fact. Terry Brooks holding on quite nicely as he's 0.2 of a second ahead of the driver of the 9 machine and Kenny Brooks as well. Dalton Beer in 4th, Jeff Morash in 5th, and Morash so far running over the top 5 for the majority as we see a little bit of an almost door bang there between Brooks and McKee. They hold on. 21 laps in, Dalton Beer down to the inside line. He's almost going to get into the mix for the 2nd position. Jeff Morash goes. And Brad Crest there as well. As you can see, Adam Bozzi's now going to be able to push there. Jeff Morash right beside him. And they will not touch, but they keep going. And Morash going to lose that spot to Brad Crest. And Garrett Signor gets in the mix. There as well. Allen Goodman in the mix mix for the first time. The 8 machine is in the 8th position. They all roll nice and clean. James McKee still trailing down the race leader of Terry Brooks. 23 machine has been close to victory this season. Not able to get it done. Very close at North Wilkesboro. Not able to make it happen, but now McKee takes the lead back. Your pole sitter back out front, but only just as Dalton Beer pulls up to the scene, and now he's going to try to take him 3. Lays off and just goes full send. A lot of guys, a lot of different perspectives on how to race this race. 23 laps in, and it looks like Dalton Beer going to get right by James McKee. A lot of guys going to the and Brad Kress going to get the better of his teammate there. James McKee sent all the way wide. And how about it? Terry Brooks up front. And Dalton Beer in second. Brad Kress third, Garrett Sidnor in at 4th, and Kenny Brooks is in the 5th position. As Alan Koeman tries to go side by side, Dalton Beer in the wall, big time. He's going to slide to the inside retaining wall, and that is going to be major damage to the 38. And the Planters number 38 machine absolutely destroyed. Let's get an instant replay on that. As we see, taking the turn, quite aggressively trying to get to the race lead here. Goes up to the high side. Brooks does not put down the block. And it looks like Wiggles out by himself. Down Beer tapped by Kenny Brooks. Out on the racing line, and he was out of control that whole time. 25 laps in. And that's big damage to Dalton Beer. His winning chances might just be over. As he limps it down into pit road, he will be put the lap down this time by. His leaders are going to all roar right by him there. James McKee going to be one of them, as McKee is now not up for the all. Terry Brooks, the leader. Garrett Sidnor is second. Brad Kress now going to be in second. And Garrett Sidnor is in third, 26 laps in. And a relatively clean race. Only 2 drivers with major damage thus far, and that's Matthew Russell. Now, the driver of number 38 machine, Dalton Beer. Dalton Beer not having a great night as well. Now looks to be a 2-lap down ordeal for the driver of that 38 machine. And he is struggling. Dalton Beer is. As Brad Kress has made his way up to the lead. Alan Goodman, his teammate, are right behind him. Jason McKee looks to be falling out of the pack by choice. And there we have it. McKee going to back out for now, and he will wait for the remainder of the race to play itself out. Slowly but surely, we'll see whether or not he has what it takes to get that victory. Alan Koeman in second, Garrett Sidnor third, Kenny Brooks in 4th, Adam Bossie in position number 5. And it looks like Terry Brooks is going to make his way back up as he goes side by side with Adam Bossie and gets right behind Kenny Brooks. Garrett Sidnor there as well. Great run so far. It looks like now it's going to be Kenny Brooks going down to the inside line, able to save it 3 wide. They are almost. And Kenny Brooks going to have to fall behind on Terry that time by the 23, gets by the 54. As hard as ever for that 5th position. And it looks like now it's going to be Andrew Baker in the mix for the first time tonight, catching up to Brandon Wenger quite closely. And they're double file right in front of that number 43 machine. And Kenny Brooks trying to hold that position down, defending like a lion on the 43. Too much, as there's going to be a big wiggle there for Brad Kress, and he's going to almost come back up on the track, and he's able to save what the 29 machine does. 3 wide, 2 times over, it looks like it's going to be, and Kress reaches some time, gets back on the racing surface. And Brandon Wedgard, they're double file 2 times over. And Adam Bossie is right in front of them as Garrett Sidnor tries to take Alan Koeman's spot. Side by side for the race lead. Overall, it looks like Garrett Sidnor's got the momentum down the back straight away, and he's going to be able to carry it through 30 laps in out of 100. And these guys are pushing. Keremy Brooks is in. And he is going to have to lose a lot of positions as a result. Right side damage, it is clear. And he's not going to be happy about that one. The 54 machine going to lose a spot to Dylan Body that time by. And Dylan Petit there as well. Jeff Morehouse in the mix. Back to 12 now. As Garrett Sidnor leads by a car length over Adam Bossie. Alan Koeman falling back. And as it stands, it appears to be a roulette for whoever can get up front 3 wide now for second. And the next thing is going to be a spin. Brandon Wendron up the track. Andrew Baker involved. Big wreck. And Dylan Body gets out of it. Brad Crest going to get him. And we have a big one here in Atlanta. And let's try to find out what happened. 30 seconds. Instant replay on the matter. And let's find out where this started as we try to watch the wide angle of this one. Dylan Body ended up damaged at the tail end of it. And they went 3 wide here. While there's a lot of room throughout the turn, it narrows out by the time you get to that front straightaway. Alan Kummen taps Brandon Wendron. Kummen tries to avoid it. Looks like he does. Then Wendron comes right back up the track. Gets Andrew Baker. Gets Terry Brooks. Gets Brad Crest as well. Kenny Brooks gets by. And Brandon Wendron hits Dylan Body. And Body looks to be alright until Brad Crest taps him. Although Body nonetheless looks to be able to get out of it straight. And it looks like he's going to have very minimal damage, if anywhere, to ride on board with Dylan Body and try to find out what happened there. Because he certainly was in the middle of it when the incident occurred. And this is the interior view of the Waffle House number 26 machine. Try to find out what happened from the inside and see how we avoided that incident. Actually, you can see by this point, tap twice, and you can hear it. He was able to keep it straight. And Dylan Body keeps going. And physically, it doesn't appear that there's much damage. We ride up close with a close drone shot. Further on back, nothing as well. And there we have it. Dylan Body, 33 laps in. Not a lot of damage, but involved with the wreck alongside Brandon Wendron, Brad Crest, and Andrew Baker. Garrett Sidnor is your race leader. With Caleb Morrissey in second and Alan Kummen in third, the majority of the field comes down pit road. And it looks like Alan Kummen the winner off pit road by a long shot. Morrissey up to second. Garrett Sidnor, race leader, 18 laps into his stint, 33 laps out of 100. We're a third of the way through this race. And this resets the picture big time. We'll see who was able to get it done. It looks like now Garrett Sidnor has some pace to be up front, but it's a back and forth trade of whoever gets up front. Because when you get up front, you're only going to be up there for so long before you're bound to go back and you start the cycle all over again. And it's an unfortunate scenario. The driver of the 38 machine, the 57 machine, and all the drivers who have been affected so far as Dalton Beer looks to be 3 laps down. According to timing and scoring, Matthew Rodriguez now on the racing service, 9 laps down, and he is far out of winning contention. Although it appears a lot of his damage has been repaired. And he'll be able to get back onto the track. 34 laps in out of 100. And as we reorder the field, we are now 1 to green. Led by Garrett Sidnor, Caleb Morrissey on his outside, and Tyler Rush in third. Who looks to have gotten the victory on pit road and on the choose rule as well. Going down to the inside on Alan Kummen. Kummen choosing to start right behind Caleb Morrissey. 34 out of 100. And we still have all of our field, as Rodriguez is the last of them, on timing and scoring 9 laps down. And the number 50 machine up front, it's a Ford and a Chevy. 4 on the high side, Chevy on the bottom. Before we have 2 Chevys in the second row, and then we have our first Toyota of Dylan Body and Adam Bozzi, all Toyotas on the third row. All Chevys on the first. On the top 6 is in row number 2. The iRacing pace car dives in once again, and we're going to get right back to the action for the second time tonight. Second restart, it's going to be over. Green flag is out. Let's go back to the show. Led at the stripe by Morrissey. And Garrett Sidnor almost had him that time by. Morrissey able to sneak that lap, led by just about 1,000th of a second. Side by side, and Tyler Rush going to get Garrett Sidnor. Sidnor with the advantage over Caleb Morrissey by a pretty large margin. And now Kummen gives the 6th machine the push. And it looks like now we got one individual. Now let's see that all. Adam Bozzi goes down to the inside line on Tyler Rush. Garrett Sidnor there as well. Caleb Morrissey down to 4th. 35 laps in, everyone's getting close to one another. It's getting more and more intense time after time. And the laps are starting. These guys are starting to play strategies in their mind as Tyler Rush goes right beside Garrett Sidnor for only a moment. But he does go beside Adam Bozzi once again, and he is able to get a second position side by side now. Will he be able to clear him? Then that time by, he will not, as Bozzi stays right there. Sidnor leads that lap nonetheless. How about Kenny Brooks in the back of the pack, or now the middle with that. Now the James McKee machine fighting right beside with the 54 and an ongoing double file. Right beside both of them, now right behind both of them. As Casey Heschel going to be behind the number 26, and they're all chasing one another. Body with a lot of draft might be able to make himself some room. Last time the corners here, it did not play out well at all. Side by side, nonetheless. McKee not going to get to that time by. Kenny Brooks at the stripe will be scored in position number 5. Although James McKee coming closely up to Caleb Morrissey, and Kenny Brooks running out of Dylan Body right there. And he will have to wait up as Adam Body there as well. Body going to get right up to the 54 machine. He's almost going to be able to go side by side that time by the inside line, and that he will do. We might have a new race leader, but no, we will not. Garrett Sidnor holds on 39 laps in out of 100. Bozzi looking good so far, as he is very, very competitive tonight in the number 27 machine up front. And looking for his first victory of the season. And he is now the new race leader. Garrett Sidnor going to use the momentum on the inside line to carry himself back into the swing of things. Going back in. Taps Garrett Sidnor, but they still go. And now we got a new race leader in that 27 machine. 39 laps in, and will become 40. We are almost halfway there. An exciting showdown by every one of these guys so far. Especially consistent lap after lap. And led off by Kenny Brooks. Adam Bozzi in second. Garrett Sidnor is in third. James McKee in fourth. Tyler Rush in fifth. Sixth. Going in seventh. Casey Heschel is in eighth. And rounding at the top 10, Dylan Body and Caleb Morrissey, with Body being right behind Morrissey as we speak. 41 laps in out of 100. And Adam Bozzi side by side now with Kenny Brooks for that race lead. And this SuperSpeedway proves to put some great racing together, but very safe racing so far, as everyone's gone double file at most. Very few three-wide moves to James McKee, the pollster, to get himself back up front. 41 laps in out of 100. Some guys choosing to play it safe, while some guys choosing to play just a bit more aggressive. And aggression levels depend from driver to driver. Kendall Cole makes his way up to the statement zone. He's in the podium places, making that statement quite well. And they are double file for second. McKee and Kendall Cole. And Terry Brooks gonna have to pull off to the side of the racetrack. As it stands, Kendall Cole's championship rival is in 20th, hanging back in the draft. As Kendall Cole hoping to make something happen up front. And Kerr in second right now on the inside line of Adam Bozzi. Getting those lead lap bonus points. That will be what he needs to claw those points back on Scott Wheeler. 34 points down, 3 races, including this one remaining. And if he can't claw them back out, he might not be able to claw them back again, because Scott Wheeler's had immaculate pace all season long. Make himself known now that he will continue to contend till the tail end. He will be in a world of trouble going to the final 2 races of the season. And that's trouble that Kendall Kerr will not put himself in. Adam Bozzi side by side for a moment. 44 laps in. We have the next leader, the 21 machine. That Lucas Oil machine is running hot. And James McKee right behind the both of them. 27 and the 21 leading the way. And now the SP Designs machine. Big one there. Yellow is out once again. Kenny Brooks. And he backs into the wall quite a bit. And the Services Supply Incorporated number 54 tags a few people on the way out. As you can see, Toby Wedgwood on the corner of your screen involved as well. Let's find out what happened. We are going to send it back to a slow motion feed As you can see, Colton Gardner going to wiggle up just a bit. No contact just yet. This is just before the incident. However, side by side, Colton Gardner was with Kenny Brooks. Brooks comes down just a bit. Colton Gardner there, but they still have a reasonable distance to one another. And now Brooks appears to be turning into the 40. And he twitches back up, and this looks like where it begins. And that it is. But it looks like he snapped loose. Unbelievably, as a matter of fact. And he's going to come down the racetrack, and a few drivers try to spin in response, trying to avoid the incident. Toby Wedgwood going to come into the mix. And he's able to avoid Scott Zellner, but he gets it into the wall as a result. And the 54, with an unimaginable snap of the car. And we're going to try to send it back 20 seconds to find out what happened. Once again, see why the car snapped like that on board with the driver 54 in Kenny Brooks. And it looks like on his end, he was hit. On ours, however, not the case. And that is especially confusing. It's the 54 machine down and out for an incident we can't even see. And that is a shocker. James McKee, however, leads the way 46 laps in, out of 100. He's found his way back up front once again. We have a little bit of time before the race continues. We're going to send it to Fireball Talks nonstop. You won't miss a thing. We won't exclude any of the green flag or rather the yellow flag action. We will be back to the full view before the yellow flag is over here. And we'll be back in just a moment. We thank you all for the support greatly. If you do enjoy the action, be sure to like and subscribe. It is always greatly appreciated. And we will return shortly. We hope that you enjoy the presentation that you have been watching. This is live on FTN.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
we are especially happy to have the partners that we have, especially glad to have the partners we have as we head back into the live feed. And we have to thank all of our partners, Throttle Graphics and Designs, the Iora Cup Series, and the Highline Racing League for providing us those incredible videos that we love presenting to all of our viewers. And they mean the world to us. We thank all of our associates and our viewers for making every night possible here live on FTN. Let's get back to the show. 48 laps in, and now we are green once again. James McKee with a monster start. And he gets a much, much better start than the remainder of the field there. Very good job for the driver of the number 9. Gets a great start, and Tyler Rush follows him, gets that draft immediately, and almost halfway through the race, it's going to become another aggressor on the driver, the 9 machine, Colton Gardner, now side by side, aggressively getting around side drafting in effect, and using it to his advantage. Colton Gardner, double file there with James McKee up front, Kendall Kerr as well, Adam Bozzi, Dylan Petit is not up front just yet, but now he looks to be in the next and Dylan Body there as well. And Tyler Rush is your new race leader, side by side, James McKee, Colton Gardner. The laps in will lead us to the cross flags halfway home. We are now at the 50 lap to go point, and how about that for every one of these guys? We only have half the distance remaining, and we've got half more. James McKee side by side for the race lead here. 50 laps left. Strategies might be changing, and aggression might just rise that much more. With the halfway point on its way, we're going to thank everyone watching on Stadium Scene TV, incredible partners of this league. Stadium Scene TV, the best place to go for all sports news, virtual and real, on Twitter and on StadiumScene.tv, their website. And as we stand, the driver of the 9 machine leads the way over Tyler Gardner, as James McKee has had a control on this race all night long. And shade to Chase Elliott winning at this configuration of Atlanta this year. The number 9 machine, the same font and all, the same color set. Control the same way Chase Elliott did. Adam Bozzi in third position now, clearing Tyler Rush, Colton Gardner there, and Bozzi's going to go down to the inside line and chase the driver of James McKee. Dylan Petit there as well. Now side by side, second row. 48 laps remaining. With Petit in the mix for the first time tonight, we throw another wrench into the equation. New drivers are able to ride right up front with the guys who've been leading the whole way through. But without the experience up front, how will they affect the complexion of this race? We're going to find out. Is Dylan Petit going to go down to the inside line looking for win number 2 on the season? Getting his first at North Wilkesboro. He put together a great performance there. But Colton Gardner looking for win number 1. Is going to fight like a lion here as well. And every win matters to him. And even more so than Dylan Body already having one, compared to Colton Gardner looking for his first. Adam Bozzi there as well. Gets up to the highest line of the racing surface that most of these guys are able to go to. That second groove. As you can see, nobody else goes anywhere higher. He's now right behind Dylan Petit, and he's going to be able to make a move. Dylan Petit sees that his drafting partner might have a few connection issues as the camera stalls out every time a car disconnects. In single file, first and second, and then third, as Tyler Rush is going to come right back up on Colton Gardner and get him that time by. Momentum on the outside line prevails a big time through the front straightaway. Lap after lap, and nobody seems to be faster. That 72 on that inside line, or on that outside line, depending on where that draft is. Where the draft goes, he will follow, and he'll use it effectively to no end. 72 machine, new color scheme tonight. Representing it quite well, as now Andrew Baker goes to the inside line, getting himself back up into the mix. 57 laps in, 44 laps to go here in Atlanta. Adam Bozzi double file with James McKee. And Andrew guys. And Kendall Kerr there in the mix. Colton Gardner, Jeff Morash, Caleb Morrissey, Brad Crescent 10th. KC has you on 11th, and Chad Winstead in 12th. Dylan Petit leads the way nonetheless over the remainder of the field. And now James McKee gets right up to his back bumper. It goes down to the inside line. Big maneuver there for the 9 machine, and we got a new race leader, James McKee, with 43 laps to go. Petit gonna fall back just a bit. And let's see what he's got left now. He's got a lot of time to, of course, get back up front. But he's had a lot of control of this race ever since that restart, and using that to his advantage, he's been able to get a few extra lap points. The most laps here tonight, 43 laps left. A lot of time to settle it, but James McKee looks to have one of the cars to beat. Even though this is a super speedway event, there's always one or two cars that come out on top compared to the remainder of the field, even if it is an entirely racing. As Tyler Rush going to go up to the high side there. It is far from over, and Rush in number 72 machine on a rush, and he might be able to make the maneuver stick this time by the outside line. He's got a lot of passes done here. The momentum and cutting down, and coming down to the start finish line, he's going to use his tried and true method and get him back at the line. Tyler Rush gets that lap lead. Nice work there. And the 72 machine is able to hold on and lead that lap side by side. Right behind him. And teammates playing with one another, playing with failure. That's going to change up the complexion as well, because generally these guys are able to work together so well. No! Kevin Kerr losing an awful lot of positions here, and he's going to shovel back to the middle of the draft. And now, Dylan Petit going to give Tyler Rush a major advantage. And the leader of this race, decided by a 2-car tandem show-off. Big Rush! We're going to get another yellow. And Morrissey down and around for the top 10. Let's find out what happened. And just when it seemed when this event was winding down, it all gets wound back up again. As Morrissey gets involved, and let's see where it started. Andrew Baker in the wall, it looks like. And Baker comes down. Kenny Brooks tries to avoid, and Brooks gets into Morrissey. And Morrissey sent into the wall immediately. And Caleb will get the worst of it. A majority of these guys not going to be able to even get close to touching Caleb Morrissey as he blinks out for just a moment there. And the yellow flag is out for Caleb Morrissey. And that incident's going to cost him a winning chance here. A lot of damage, and he keeps it up on the wall. And gets it going once more. And the channel lock Ford Mustang. He locked it down. But he has much less of a chance to get this victory now. A lot of damage, and Morrissey going to have to slowly but surely cradle it back to the pit road. And you can see the trouble he has holding that thing together. It is all out of sorts at about 30 miles an hour. How about it? And leading the way, we're going to check back on your race leaders. As it stands, timing scoring saying that Jeff Morash is the leader. But that is not, in fact, the case. As you can see, Tyler Rush there. And now, we can see that Jeff Morash is the leader. Alan Kuhlman in second, and Terry Brooks is in third. Very few drivers choosing not to pit. And Jason Key, Dylan Petit being the winners of those who chose not to do so. And the 124 triple-digit threat up front with 38 laps to go. And he is in the hot seat for the first time all night long. Up front, in a place that many drivers have been, but not many have been able to stay. And Jeff Morash here to prove that he belongs in the fight for the victory. And it won't take much for him to keep it for a few laps, but it will take much more to keep it till that checkered flag. And it all becomes much more challenging, as it looks like now Morash will not be going down a pit road. And there we have it. Morash down to the inside line, and Alan Kuhlman going to be able to take that high line. 37 laps to go. We're getting set up to go green this time by. And there we have it. Double file, first 3 rows, and it looks like the 4th row going to be pulling up onto your screen. 37 laps to go, led by Jeff Morash for the first time tonight under yellow. And Alan Kuhlman looking to get it done as we have a little bit of a smoke show here. And the driver is going to go through the smoke. And they get out all right. No incident. And this will be the final stretch. Just about a third of the race remaining. 64 laps we have gotten through. And only so much time before the show ends here. And there will be only one winner. And of all of the drivers who have led, it could just be Jeff Morash leading the way here. And he might just be able to pull off the upset. The 8 machine, the 9 machine up front as well. Kuhlman, McKee, teammates. But it could go anyone's way here with 37 laps to go in the SP150. The iRacing pace car will dive in this time by. And we are far from done here in Atlanta. Jeff Morash, Alan Kuhlman side by side, and we will be getting back to the show once again. Green flags out, 36 laps to do it. And Morash gets the stripe first by a large margin. And at this point, a lot of guys getting a lot of trouble with their cars when it comes to super speedway tendencies. Cars get damaged. Looks like a few guys now going to be able to play it safe as the top 4 are going to be single file for a moment. James McKee going to go down with Alan Kuhlman. And those two are going to be able to make a pass on Morash with ease. Everyone's going to file him out. And Jeff Morash fighting for his place with 36 laps left. 3 wide, Petit, Morash, and Adam Bazzi. As James McKee goes back to lead from the pole position, he is still leading with 35 laps left. Staying up front, it has been the key. Incidents all night long. Here at Sidnor, there as well. Dylan Petit side by side with him. If you watch a lap on board with the driver like Dylan Petit, you're going to see a lot of information coming right at you. Goes up to the high side. Lets Chad Winstead get that inside line as he follows the draft of Kendall Kerr. And in 5th gear all the way. At full throttle, no restriction. The peak number 31 machine using the peak potential of that engine. And flying through as he gets right up to the back bumper there. And you see these checkups are severe and they might not seem that way on the TV cameras. When it comes down to these onboards, it takes every single maneuver to keep that momentum high without hitting someone and wrecking the field. Chad Winstead now right behind Dylan Petit. And Petit is going to go down to the inside line. As you watch the rear view camera, you can see all the drivers are right behind him. And Winstead gets a run on the high side, uses that to his advantage big time. He holds on and stays stable in the currently 5th position he is in. 33 laps left. As you can see, he goes down the inside line. Everything looks a lot more chaotic in some senses and more stable in others. You don't see the checkups, you don't see the differences in momentum, but you also see that everyone's able to go to different lines. It seems to be like a flip of a switch where it looks like a lot more effort in the car compared to what we see on the broadcast. And that's what makes these guys special, using every single line to their advantage with 32 laps left. It's all about and using it when you have it. And if you don't do that, you simply can't win the race at the tail end of it. Adam Bazzi, new race leader. Dylan Petit in 2nd, and Kendall Kerr and James McKee will have to work with one another to get it done. And now it looks like it's going to be Jacob Harm showing up to the party for the first time tonight. The 76 machine has gotten up front, and the NyQuil machine, it is there. As James McKee goes side by side right with him. Chad Winstead in 3rd now, single file, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. 2 Toyotas and a Mustang. The Chevy right behind him. This is about a 7-8 car pack for the lead battle. Allen coming in 9th, right out of it. Scott Wheeler is a second pack, trying to get them back up front. And last time by, this pack is a second behind the speed of the main pack. Let's see this time by. Adam Bozzi's best lap was a 30.611 this time by. And now, Scott Wheeler is 0.7 of a second off of that. This pack is fading back in fast. It's going to be a 9-car battle for the victory at this pace. Andrew Baker on pit road, or rather on the exit of pit road. As you can see, Bozzi being chased down by Dylan Petit, giving each other just enough room to make it happen. And 31 machine chasing win number 2, while Chad Winstead chases win number 3. Both of these drivers looking for something here tonight, something special to keep themselves in the mix. Kendall Curry able to gain a lot of positions on Scott Wheeler, and as a result, a lot of points as a result. And using every single point to his advantage, Kendall Kerr will. With 27 laps to go, the driver of the 27 machine leads the way. Dylan Petit right behind him, and the 31 machine still holds on to 7. Jason McKee goes up to the high side there. Kendall Kerr there as well. And the number 27 machine holds on. Body right behind him. Or rather, very far behind. Directly behind. As this 8-car pack is whittling down. Alan Kuhlman looks to have lost touch with the draft. He's down at 13th now with the second pack. You can see a lot of guys down there in that second pack. You got to stay up front. Full pace to stay up here. And you're a single risk of losing the pack, but he's still very close to Tyler Rush. And the opportunity to lose that pack very, very slim. Chad Winstead is in 4th. Driver up 26 laps to go, and it's all been whittled down to about 8 drivers. And Adam Bozzi being one of which. He's the one who's leading the way so far. At 26 becomes 25 laps to go. Dylan Petit is in 2nd, Chad Winstead in 3rd, James McKee in 4th, and Kendall Kerr top 5 as he goes side by side with Jacob Hahn for just a moment. And it looks like Tyler Rush going to be right there with Garrett Sidnor back up the run. And it works for only a moment. Side by side, the 76 and 21 go. And there you have it. It's going to be now Jacob Hahn getting that position on Kendall Kerr, side by side for 5th. And on the inside line, the momentum will prevail through the turn as the inside line dominating so far. Chad Winstead, James McKee, double fire, 2 turns over. The 9 and 10 fighting as hard as ever. And Dylan Petit leads the way over Adam Bozzi for only a moment as Adam Bozzi gets that lead back. And he 24 laps to settle this race. And Jacob Hahn in the mix now. Tyler Rush in the mix. Garrett Sidnor as well. We see a lot of guys coming here for an underdog victory. Adam Bozzi looking for win number 1. Kendall Kerr looking at championship hopes alive. And Chad Winstead looking for yet another win on the season. Looking for 3 wins on the season. Meaning that he would have won 25% of the races on the schedule. If he's able to get this one done tonight, it would be incredible for Winstead to pull that one off, as he is slowly but surely crawling back into the championship contention. And 22 laps to go. You know what that means. The TrackCams22.com. Crank it up. The best cameras on iRacing, and as a result, we are happy to present them and proud to present them once more. Let's crank it up uninterrupted. here in Atlanta. As you can see, Dylan Petit keeping a very close watch. And Chad Winstead in third is there as well. And now it's going to become 18 laps with only so much time remaining. It's going to become crunch time now. And Chad Winstead watches and waits for perhaps the opportunity to steal that third win of the season away. For perhaps Dylan Petit, perhaps Bozzy, perhaps the driver behind him. How about Kendall Kerr? How about James McKee? How about Tyler Rush? All looking for the same victory for different reasons. They've all got a great chance of it going into the final stretch here. It's going to be 17 laps to go. Garrett Sidnor losing touch with the draft. Jacob Hamm is as well. But look out. It looks like Scott Wheeler now has just enough pace to keep distance. And they're slowly but surely gaining in on the lead pack. It might not be enough, but he is leading the pack here. And in the 9th spot, Scott Wheeler closes in on Jacob Hamm and Garrett Sidnor, who slowly but surely lose touch with the draft. James McKee still in the first spot. And it looks like now these leading guys are untouched. As McKee going to go up to the high side. Tyler Rush tries to make a maneuver on him that time by. He gets it right up to the bumper. He goes down to the inside line. No maneuver. He pulls it back. And James McKee going to be able to hold on to that spot for now. Tyler Rush right there. Kendall Kerr as well. The fight goes on. As KT now side by side with Scott Wheeler for the lead of the second pack. And this second pack, while out of winning contention without a caution, is still fighting hard for every spot there. Because every spot here means that Scott Wheeler, every point is that much more of a cushion going into the final 2 races of the season. And those are points that he is going to need if he wants the chance to lock this championship up. As Adam Bozzi still leads with 15 laps left, he has had no competition toward the tail end of this one. And although we only have so much time, it becomes a question of whether or not these guys will push to pass Bozzi. Or he might have just wrapped it up already. Surely knowing the competitive nature of every single one of these drivers, it is not done. But Bozzi's got some security here with Dylan Petit giving him the ride of his life. And Bozzi out in front of the field. Keep it calm and collected. Nobody near him in the Queen City Racing number 27 machine has help from Team Trackhouse for now. And their work together, intentional or not, has kept Adam Bozzi tail end of the race. As James McKee slowly but surely is going to peel himself back into the equation, peeling off the layers of this lead one by one. Chad Winstead's going to be the first he attempts to get by, and he bumps Winstead, but to no avail. No position is going to be gaining there. Who else but James McKee? McKee going to go up to the high side, tries to make a move, not going to be able to make that one happen. Kendall Kerr still laying back. And 13 laps to go. Laying back might not be the option to go for now, but you never know if these guys can do it. And that is, of course, a possibility with 88 laps completed, and now it will become 89. We are on. As 13 becomes 12 laps to go, 12 laps to settle it. And everyone seems clean and green thus far. Bozzi in first, Dylan Petit second, Chad Winstead in third, and James McKee in position number 4, having a great run so far. As it looks like now he's actually going to be able to get by Chad Winstead for third. He peels off the first layer. McKee now going to chase after the top 2. And this is when it gets intense. Bozzi, Petit, first and second. James McKee, aggressive as ever. Getting closer to those top 2 now. They better watch out. This is when it all changes. And the top 7 drivers, single file. Kendall Kerr, the last of them. James McKee going to go around the inside line. Tries to force the issue. He will not be able to force it well enough. Chad Winstead! And that's going to put quite a big dent in the right side. And he's going to have to barely hold on to that draft. Bozzi, he's in first. Dylan Petit in second. James McKee in third now. 10 laps to go. The double digits will clock themselves down. We're winding down with the clock before we get to that checkered flag. And with such little time before this race is over, a determining factor of this one comes down to strategy. And James McKee might be playing the perfect one. Pole position has led so many laps throughout the race. And he's reeling in your leader one last time. 9 laps to go. And with 9 to go, Chad Winstead goes high, trying to make a last-ditch attempt on Tyler Rush. Not able to make it happen that time by. Petit still out front with Adam Bozzi. First and second, the protection is clear. And Jason McKee trying to settle into that draft, having quite a lot of trouble doing so. Let's watch on board with the cockpit view. This is exactly what he sees lap after lap. As you can see in the 5th gear getting close, but it looks like he actually lets off just a bit, trying to keep them with a sense of security. And that time he's getting a lot of momentum. He goes up to the high side, trying to make something happen. And he absolutely has the draft, enough draft to make a maneuver. Yes, he does have it, but he is not using it, and he is playing it quite cautiously now with 8 laps to go, which will become 7 laps to go. The leader gaining in on some lap times and lap cars. And it's going to be a maneuver there. Absolutely making the move for the first time. He almost tries to. And Petit going to get shuffled out of line. And Dylan Petit watching and waiting. As he's going to have to watch every driver in his rearview mirror. Now they're all getting intense. Kendall Kerr is going to slowly but surely get to the scene. And Petit is watching. As it looks like Adam Bozzi going to blink out just a bit at the line. Almost. And 1, 2, 3, these guys are in the blanket. 6 laps to go. Lap 95 of 100. We've made it this far. And it's time to settle it. With Bozzi leading once again, he is absolutely in control. Nobody even to stop him just yet. And Dylan Petit in the 2nd spot there as well. The 9 machine is just waiting for his opportunity to get through. Tyler Rush now into 4th. And Chad Winstead still in 5th, holding on quite well. We'll see whether or not Winstead's going to go for a maneuver. He almost gets one down on Tyler Rush. He almost gets it done there. And he's getting there time after time. 5 laps left. It's now or never for every one of these drivers. Chad Winstead in the mix. And he is slowly but surely gaining in on the leaders. Rush in 4th. We're going to go side by side with Kendall Kerr. Kerr losing a lot of time here. 2nd pack. Catching up slowly but surely. Single file now. And while they are faster, are they fast enough? We're going to find out. They are now within 3 seconds of the leaders. But it might not be enough nonetheless. They've gained 2 seconds over 15 laps. And that just might wrap it up for their chances at the victory without a caution here. 4 laps to go. The inside line. Now he's going to play aggressive. And Dylan Petit on the back bumper of Adam Bozzi to no end. 3 laps to go to settle this race. Lap 98 of 100 here. And the SP150 will come down to the wire. And we're going to find out whether or not James McKee can get himself a pole to victory translation, or if Dylan Petit can get win number 2, or if Adam Bozzi can pull off the upset and get the victory here in Atlanta. 3 laps to go becomes 2 laps to go in Atlanta. And the High Banks provide a new challenge, but these guys have adapted the best. The final 7 in the mix. And Dylan Petit is one of them. 2-lap cars are going to be letting the leaders by. It's Andrew Baker and Caleb Morrissey. And Petit watches as the leader is blinking big time, and he's going to go wide. And Petit almost gets tapped out by James McKee. Chad Winstead to the inside line. 1 lap to go. It's getting intense now. Adam Bozzi blinks out once again. Petit up to the high side. Chad Winstead's got the momentum as well. And Dylan Petit trying to get out. Petit up to the high side. He's going to get that run, and now it's going to be Winstead's maneuver. Will he be able to make one happen? Not yet. Bozzi goes up to the high side. He's going to try to use that run on the high line to get that victory. Dylan Petit's got the lead for now, but coming up to the stripe, he might not be able to hold on to it. Petit turns. Big maneuver. Chad Winstead. No. James McKee wins at Atlanta. And he gets it done in the SP Designs car. What a finish! And he hardly got away with it. And how about that? I can't believe it. James McKee is your winner. And let's watch that finish back. And this is from the back straightaway. We're going to actually send it up to the front straightaway to see it in full. How James McKee positioned himself in this final segment. And this is the back straightaway once again. We're going to fast forward it, and you can see coming through the third and fourth turns. You might think by this point it is game over, but you can see Adam Bozzi gets into Dylan Petit. And the drivers who work so well with one another all race long make contact. Petit goes back to the inside. Bozzi thinks he's clear. He is not. And those two get out of contention immediately. They finish 6th and 7th respectively. And McKee, with the high side advantage, wins at the stripe. And what a way to win it. And he played it perfect. And he's burning it down now. Right there with Alan Coombe, his teammate. And double burnout between Blacktop Racing teammates. Looks like it's over. Coombe still burns it down, and Alan celebrates, while James McKee, your race winner, gets back to the start-finish line. And it looks like the celebration on track is over for James McKee. But off track, he's got to be ecstatic about this one, getting it done in style. The number 9 machine, he goes from pole to victory. How you feeling after that one, winning the SP Designs SP150?
Holy crap. Wow. I thought I lost it when I got into Dylan Petit a little bit and washed my car up, and then I lost the bottom to Chad, and I was settling for a top 5 and hoping we weren't going to wreck, and then the seas kind of parted, and then they came back at me, and then I got scared, and then jubilation.
And it looks like that last lap couldn't have gone any better, avoiding the incident at the tail end of it, and that final run came down to 7 cars, and managing all of that and getting aggressive at the right time. How was it working toward the strategy at the tail end and eventually getting the victory?
I don't know. I was just trying to survive and make sure we were there at the end. And I got by Chad a little earlier and was able to be in third for a little bit. And then I was just trying to save my stuff in case we were able to go hard at the end with about 5 or so to go. And then whatever happened when I got shuffled back. But I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words right now because I've been gypped out of so many restrictor plate races in this league, just at the right spot at the right time, and then the last lap happens, and then I get caught up in a wreck. So I'm just happy to finally pull one off.
And pulling one off in style here, getting it through the incident, and it looks like strategy might have not played into anything when it came to the tires. 37-lap-old stint, and it felt maybe like brand new. You let us know. How was it riding through those final few laps at the most intense point of the race with 37-lap-old sets?
those tires weren't they didn't have a whole lot of grip, but towards the end we were sliding coming off of every corner. Turn 2 was the worst. I about wiped out about 3 or 4 times in the last 10 or so laps, just trying to hang on to the bottom and not lose it, and it stuck luckily. But yeah, they wore out for sure, which is good. It's like a little bit of old Atlanta just on a restrictor plate. So just happy.
And getting it done here at Atlanta, finally getting it done in the restrictor plate configuration here. And it looks like a lot of first-timers for this series coming to this new configuration. But Iowa, next time we race, which I believe will be next week. Don't believe we have a breaks. Some leagues are choosing to take it a little early, but I don't think you guys are going to be doing that. So Iowa, 140 laps. How are you feeling going to that one?
I'm kind of 50-50 with Iowa. I'll have some good runs and some bad runs there, and it just depends. I guess we haven't raced that car there, so it should be new for everybody and a lot of fun and hopefully multi-groove so we can have a lot of good racing and not a lot of single file work.
Absolutely, Iowa. Looking forward to that one. But tonight, you get it done in style. James McKee winning at Atlanta. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate y'all.
And there we have it. That is the driver of the 9 machine. Let's get on to our second interview of the night, and that will be with Chad Winstead, driver of the number 10 machine. However, it appears he is not in any chat room just yet. We're going to try to get a Chad Winstead right about now. Make sure that we can get something from him. And we are next going to go on to Tyler Rush, who was able to finish this one in the 3rd position. Try to see whether or not we can get something from them immediately after the event. Although it looks like now Winstead is in a voice chat, and we will be able to get right to him. Let's go to that, as it looks like James McKee has not been returned to his team voice chat. We're going to do that first. Make sure that he's able to communicate with his team after the victory. And here he is, Alan Kuhlman, going to be placed back with James McKee, and we will be taking Chad Winstead in for an interview. And apologies for the delay. We're going to just join his voice chat here. The driver of the 10 machine going to be moved up to the broadcast booth. And let's get a word from the driver who finished runner-up tonight, Chad Winstead. Oh, so close to win number 3. And how was it here in Atlanta?
It's heartbreaking, man. I thought I had it when we crossed the line. I couldn't see Jimmy up there. And looking at the replay, I see how he got me there. But that was a pretty crazy finish.
And absolutely a crazy finish, parting the seas. And it looks like at the tail end of it, it came down to you and James McKee. And how was it running through that final stint, which eventually was whittled down to a total of 7 drivers fighting for the victory? And how did you navigate throughout the entire run?
Yeah, it worked out. Earlier on in the race, I was being super conservative, just, hanging around the back, kind of feeling things out, and was able to get up and get some good track position there. And me and my teammate Adam, we were having a good run with Dylan Petit there, and we were able to just stay tucked in there 3 deep, and it seemed like we were pretty fast and pulling away from the field, so it was a lot of fun. And then the car just started kind of dying there towards the end. It was getting really, really loose and tight, and made it a little bit more difficult to drive and stay tucked in there. And coming down to that last lap, I was like, I was in a good position. I was able to get under James and get back to 3rd, and was going to try to push Adam to the win or try to be in position to make the pass, and just couldn't get my bumper to stick up there. It's hard. It's a hard place to pass, and obviously, what happened up front, the 2 cars got tangled up, and I guess Jimmy and I benefited from it. But I think I got a little bit loose trying to avoid the wreck, and I think I scrubbed just enough speed to give him a little bit more of an inch there at the finish line.
And it all came down to that final run at the start-finish line. Eventually, that is where the deciding positions were, of course, decided. And eventually, you came home second here. And it looks like, according to James McKee, tires were wearing out. And you appear to be on a 1 lap older set than the number 9 machine. It looks like grip might have played a factor in that race victory for the 9. And perhaps not for you.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely could have contributed. It's hard to tell, but it was interesting how the tires wore. But overall, I'm excited to get another good finish. I obviously wanted that 3rd win. That would have been amazing. Coming into this race, I was a little scared of what might happen. But from 21st to start and to finish 2nd, hopefully I took a chunk out of the points. So I'm overall pretty happy.
And absolutely a great performance here. And next week will be Iowa. So a much different style of racing. How do you feel going into that one?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm confident with all these good finishes and a couple of wins. I don't have any experience at Iowa, so definitely going to have to get a little bit of practice before the race. But overall, I'm feeling confident, and that's all I can ask for.
Absolutely confidence going into the remainder of the season. Chad Winstead backs up a victory with another strong result. Runner-up tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And there we have it. That is the driver of the 10 machine in Chad Winstead. And it looks like his team has already disconnected for the majority of the voice chats. And the only driver we are looking to get a voice chat with once more is the driver of the 72 in Tyler Rush. And we're going to try to get to him right now. Only going to be a moment before we are able to get to him. And if we cannot, we will move on to our race results for tonight's event. A great race put on by every one of these drivers. And it looks like Tyler Rush currently offline. Although we're going to try to contact him immediately and see if we can get some comments from our third place finisher. But Tyler Rush, he would put on a great performance here tonight. Well, of course, it would be better if he spoke for himself. He was able to come through and get that final spot in the podium places, benefiting, of course, from that final incident, but still playing it very strong, keep himself in the draft the whole way through. And either way, Tyler Rush finishes in the third position, and it looks like as it stands, we will not be able to get an interview from the driver of the 72. And nonetheless, what a performance put on by every one of these drivers, especially those in the podium places. Rush does now appear to be online, and we are going to try to get an update from him. Do not see him in any voice chat just yet. And we're going to hold out and hopefully get an interview from the driver of that 72. Tyler Rush, position number 3 on the night. Winner, James McKee. Second is Chad Winstead. And we're holding out to see whether or not the 72 comes in. But as it stands, we will wrap up for interviews. If we're able to get them, we will be able to get them later. And how about it? Let's get on to your race results and see how those rack up as the top 3 drivers put on a great show. And what a finish that was. Won by James McKee. Here are your race results here from the SB Designs SP150. And it was won by James McKee in that number 9 machine. Chad Winstead, the hard charger, from 21st to 2nd. With Tyler Rush in 3rd. Kendall Kerr in 4th, making up a chunk of points on Scott Wheeler as well. And Garrett Sidnor in 5th with Dylan Petit in position number 6. Adam Bozzi, Casey Heschel, Roberto Ramirez, and Scott Wheeler Jr. round out your top 10. And Scott Zellner in 11th, Jason Harrison 12th, Jacob Halm in 13th, Colton Gardner and Brad Kress round out your top 15. Jeff Morash, Alan Kuhlman, and Dylan Body round out the lead lap vehicles. And Dalton Beer, 3 laps down. Terry Brooks, 5 laps down. And Caleb Morrissey, 8 laps down. And Matthew Rodriguez, 9 down. All found themselves at the start-finish line, although they were several laps down. Andrew Baker, Kenny Brooks, Toby Wedgwood, Brendan Wenjard were all retirees. And that is how your race wraps up. What a show put on by every one of these drivers, and what a win for James McKee, getting it done in style here in Atlanta. And he gets it done in dramatic fashion, perhaps the most dramatic victory all season long. We want to thank every single one of you for watching here tonight. It was a great show put on by all these drivers, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed presenting it. And we will be live Saturday at 7:45 Eastern with a full send Indycar Championship. And we will, of course, be back next Thursday night with the Highline Racing League. And we hope that we see every one of you there once more. Your support means the world, and we could not ever do this without any one of you. Thank you all. And now, we hope you have a great night. We've wrapped up shop, and we hope to see you back next time we are live.